just pull it out?
Just take out the plug on the equipment.
You don't
Okay.
have it? All right. Come to my office tomorrow. I got nothing going on.
Okay, wait, we have to vote to come out of executive session.
Motion to come out of exec session.
Okay, so we have a motion to come out of executive session by Tom Divany, second by Dennis Troy. All in favor? Aye. You gotta close the meeting? You gotta close the meeting. Was that? Okay, so you have to vote on it? Okay, a motion to adjourn the police commission meeting? Yes. These two. That's what I said. He's telling me I gotta make another motion. To come out of executive session now to close the meeting. These two voted, 1 and 2. Yeah. Now I gotta make a motion to open the public meeting too? This is like craziness. Okay, welcome everybody. Glad to see we have such a big crowd here tonight. I can't imagine why, but anyway. So welcome to the town board meeting of December 14th, 2021, our last meeting of the year. Rosanna, on a roll call.
Councilman Dennis Troy. Present. Councilman Tom Divany.
Here.
Councilman Paul Valentine. Here. Councilman Jerry Vitari. Here. Supervisor Teresa Kennedy.
Here. Although we did do the Pledge of Allegiance at the last meeting, we're going to do it in honor of Dennis Troy's last night and for Esther Baitler, who's watching from home.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so on the announcements, I just want to let everybody know the deadline for the FEMA assistance for Hurricane Ida has been extended to January 4th. We have a bunch of presentations, and I know we're just adding some, but we're going to do it at the end of the meeting, and then we have like refreshments and stuff out there. So I'm just going to, all these presentations are going to go to the end. So we'll go straight into the workshop of the agenda items. The first item we have is to circulate the petition. This is the cider works that was supposed to be on for tonight is being circulated and changed over to when? February something, right, Rob? February 1st, thank you. Somebody's paying attention. Number 4 is to adopt the town board meeting calendar for next year. Number 5, this is actually some housekeeping work to authorize the signing of a grant for the telemetry upgrades. This is actually already done. Number 6, authorized to sign the engagement letter with O'Connor Davies, which we talked about at the last meeting. 7, retain LaBerge Group for the hybrid zoning with South Nyack. This has to do with the dissolution of South Nyack and needing to meld our town code, so they're going to help us to work on that. Number 8, authorize the intermunicipal agreement with the Village of South Nyack regarding the highway services. So as of January 1, both our police and our highway will be taking over the services for South Nyack, even though the village is not dissolving until March 31st.
And just, I think I mentioned this just so everyone knows. The police is happening by operation of law. We're hopeful to have an agreement with them. But the highway, we're doing this for the village. It's an agreement with the village that highway's taking over. We have in here about equipment, but I'm going to take some of that out. We're not approving that tonight because we're still talking about the amounts. Jim Dean was okay with that agreeing that we will take over January 1, and we'll still negotiate with them on the price for equipment. Mm-hmm. So I'll take out some of those whereases, Rosanna.
Jim, get your shovel out. We're not going to get those trucks, so get your shovel out. Okay, 9 is to waive a 30-day advance notice for an on-premises alcohol license. This is for the place in town that was called Mary's or whatever it's called. La Cocina and then Mary's, whatever like that. So they're trying to get open for February. Number 10, extend the authorization for outdoor dining, sidewalk cafes. This has to do with what, during COVID, and again now with the newest strain, basically allowing restaurants to do outdoor dining for a bit longer. 11, accept the road widening deed for Route 303 on Blauvelt. Approve, lend assistance to the Volunteer Fire Association of Japan for their holiday drive-through event. which is Saturday, December 18th, from 4:30 to 7:30. 13, approve, award the bid to Trius Inc. for one new truck. I don't know what it is, but a big truck. Parks and Rec, accept Orangetown Metro Soccer. This is the OMM improvements to the youth soccer complex. Every year we do this. We basically accept title to some of the improvements that they've done. 15, accept the donation of memorial benches. We have a few benches here. Real quick, in memory of our dear friends, deceased members of the Celtic Golf Club. Oh, boy. I cannot even try to say that. Carmel, what does that say? Okay, thank you. Okay. Be a lot easier if they didn't put the Gaelic in between. Okay. Our favorite park, enjoy compliments of Robert and June Hudson, 2022. In loving memory of Mary and Phil Angelestro, and in memory of Walter Hollinger, friend, sailing buddy, colleague. So those are a couple benches. 16, award the bid for furnishing of police department uniforms. 17, award the dry cleaning and minor sewing and repairs for the police department uniforms. 18, we're accepting with regret the retirement of Captain Jim Brown from the Orangetown Police Department, effective December 10th. 19, approve the intermunicipal agreement for the Rockland County Drug Task Force and assigning a detective to it. 20 is approve, lend assistance to the American Legion of Japan Reformed Church annual Christmas tree lighting, which is Sunday, December 19th, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. 21 is reopen Section 384D of the Retirement and Social Security Law regarding police pensions. This was something that we worked on with Assemblyman Lawler, who was here. We want to thank him for his help. And Senator Elijah Reichlin-Melnick helped us on this to get some special legislation. So this is, I presume, the final step on that correction. It's more of a correction than anything.
Right.
22, accept and receive file documents with the town clerk. And then we have the audit. And I don't know that we're going to have executive session, but I guess just in case. So on that note, could I get a motion to open the public comment? Moved. Dennis Troy, second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, the first person we have signed up is Susan McWinney from Orangeburg.
Thank you. Good evening. Dear Board, the Orangetown Code of Ethics conflicts
Okay, thank
two
you.
town board members from hearing or
Rosanna, that's for the
making
record.
any determinations with respect to the proposed text amendment submitted for Rockland Cider Works. They can voluntarily recuse themselves, or a motion should be made to recuse them when hearing or making determinations in this matter. We live directly next door to the cidery. We have seen Valentine electric trucks at the cidery on multiple occasions from 2019 through 2021, including when the permit application and zone change application were pending and when we believe electrical work was being performed by Valentine Electric at the cidery. It is our understanding that the town board member, Paul Valentine, owns Valentine Electric. We presume that Valentine Electric was engaged for the work it performed at the cidery, and thereby Mr. Valentine should be recused. The town's ethic code prohibits elected officials from having been employed by any person, firm, corporation in any manner whatsoever in business or professional dealings with the town, and from soliciting, receiving, or agreeing to receive compensation for services rendered while a matter is before the board. Section 1-5A, among others, prohibits elected officials from receiving compensation for services concerning any matters before the town. We believe Mr. Valentine and or his business likely received compensation. We have copies of multiple emails dated April 1st, 2021 from town board member Thomas Divney, declaring that, quote, he has no intention of shutting down Van Houten's or the cidery, and that he has had numerous discussions with their attorneys regarding issues that need to be dealt with in order to bring the farm into compliance with town code, and will continue to assist them so that they can continue to thrive in our town. These emails were sent by Mr. Divney after the town building department had issued violations to the cidery for their use and operation of the cidery in violation of town code. After the violations were pending in town justice court, after we had personally come to town board meetings voicing our opposition, after our council had sent a letter to the town board advising of the town's cidery's improprieties. The email was sent right before the cidery pled guilty to the violations on May 24th, 2021. This email suggests that a guilty plea would not defeat their ability to conduct the cidery business from the site and suggests prejudgment may be involved here. I'm going to stop here so I don't overrun my time, and I've submitted a copy of this letter to the board. But we do ask respectfully that Mr. Valentine and Mr. Divney recuse themselves, or a motion is made to recuse them in order to maintain the integrity of the town board. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. The next we have Jerry Goggin from Orangeburg.
Hello. So I've been up here many times speaking about the fact that the Van Houtens consistently misrepresent the truth. And I've got two examples tonight with me, two new examples with evidence. Number one, on July 1st, their attorney sent the town a letter saying, attached is the proposed business plan for RCW. That's his letter. I got it via FOIL. The Rockland Cider Works business plan, also obtained via FOIL, says, continuing rental/negotiation with Narrowstown Church for overflow parking use. Because as you know, parking has been an enormous problem. Now, this is on July 1st. On June 14th, the church sent a letter to the Van Houtens by certified mail. And Mr. Atchison, the building inspector, received this letter on June 16th. So I'm pretty sure they got it too. And this letter says, and I quote, "We are confirming in writing at this time, no part of Narrowstown Presbyterian Church property can be used for VHF parking, whether vehicles are commercial or private or those of VHF staff or its customers. A copy of this certified letter is being sent to the town of Orangetown, and no trespassing signs will be posted at both locations." So how come is it 2 weeks later they're representing that they're in negotiations with the church? And by the way, I called Ms. Quiro, I wrote to her on December 2nd, and she confirmed there has been no change in the church's position. So that's item number one, where the Van Houtens are grossly misrepresenting the truth. Item number two, the New York State Liquor Authority has now filed 8 charges against Rockland Cider Works. These include, and I'm paraphrasing here, the licensee submitted a false material statement or suppressed information. The licensee failed to notify the State Liquor Authority of a change in facts. The licensee submitted a false material statement or suppressed information concerning the size of the licensed premises. The licensee submitted a false material statement or suppressed information concerning the zoning designation in which the licensed premises is located. And there's 4 other charges for the violations that they received. Right? Now, we'll send you all this evidence by email. We have it all in electronic format. My point is this. They consistently misrepresent the truth, and yet the town seems to turn a blind eye to them. They're open 4 days a week, but they haven't been issued with a violation since last August. Why? Last night they were doing production work at 9:30 at night, driving around, and the police were called, by the way, and the police have this now. And hopefully they're going to take some action on it. Our neighborhood is being destroyed by these people, and they're making a laughingstock of the board because they just come in here and say something, and for some reason, everybody on the board, sorry, I think it's falling to pieces here, everybody on the board seems to turn a blind eye to it. They're breaking the law. We're told we have to compromise. They're the ones that are breaking the law. We haven't broken the law. I would like to ask the board to put on hold, to table the resolution for considering the zoning amendment until such time as the New York State Liquor Authority has completed their prosecution. Thank you very much.
Dan Bibb.
I'd like to thank the board for giving me an opportunity to speak. I'm here to speak in opposition to the Van Houten application to change the zoning law to allow us essentially an outdoor bar in a residential neighborhood. It's a scam. It's a con. If you change the zoning law and expect them to obey the new rules when they have been unable to obey the old rules, I got a bridge in Brooklyn that I can sell you. That's something else for you to address. Silver Rock Farm has been a good citizen in Orangetown for over 32 years. It's a separate business from Van Houten. Van Houten has absolutely nothing to do with Silver Rock Farm. They don't own it. They don't have anything to say about how it's run. They have claimed that it is part of their business. That is absolutely not true. The property that Silver Rock and Van Houten occupies approximately 7 acres, and the proposed zoning ordinance says that they would have to be in control of at least 5 of those acres. As a matter of fact, Silver Rock has a lease on the property which is 3.5 acres, at least 3.5 acres of that 7-acre property, which would make them ineligible in any event, even if you were to pass it. But I'm here to speak on behalf of Silver Rock Farms. For 32 years, they have taught literally thousands of Rockland and Bergen County children the benefits and skills of horsemanship. Some of them may have been your kids. Some of them may have been the kids of people you know. In addition, they host Infinity Equine Therapy. Infinity Equine Therapy basically provides horsemanship skills to profoundly disabled children and adults. I'm also here to speak on behalf of Laura Mason, the owners and boarders of over 40 horses at Silver Rock. I'm here on behalf of my wife, who owns and boards a horse at Silver Rock. On behalf of my daughters, one of whom has ridden there for well over a decade, and another who has worked there for almost as long. Mostly I'm here to speak on behalf of the horses. They have names. They're Chester, Avatar, Mulan, Maverick, Bailey, Brownie, and all the rest. They are living, breathing animals that are affected by their environment. No one thinks about this. No one thinks about what the noise pollution does. When it's peaceful and calm, most often the horses are peaceful and calm. When it's not, like every night the music blares from Van Houten's, they're not. When it is not peaceful and calm, like every night that up to 350 people will be allowed to gather at Van Houten's, and every time they violate a new rule, and you know they will because they violated them in the past, the horses will not be peaceful and calm. When it is not peaceful and calm, like the nights that inebriated patrons of Van Houten's will inevitably decide to encroach on Van Houten's property, the horses will not be peaceful and calm. When it's not peaceful and calm, like every night there will be cars coming up and down the driveway. When it's not peaceful and calm, the horses are not peaceful and calm. They're irritated. They act out. Boarders will move. Horses will move. One of the main reasons for going to Silver Rock Farm and boarding there, the peace and
Mr.
quiet
Bibb, I'm going to have to
of the
ask you to just wrap up. Can you just finish your, we have a timer.
will be gone. By allowing this change and allowing Van Houten to regularly breach the police of a residential suburban neighborhood, you will slowly be killing a business that has been in this town for over 30 years. You will slowly be killing Infinity Equine Therapy as well. And you should think about that when you vote. I'd also like to echo my friend's statement about Mr. Valentine's. I'm an attorney, and I know about conflict of interest. Mr. Valentine, you shouldn't even be in this room when they're considering this vote. You have
Mr. Bibb, your time is up. You had 3 minutes. Thank you. Melinda Maidens.
Good evening, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to address the board. My name is Melinda Maidens. I'm appearing as General Counsel and President of the Board of Trustees of Infinity Equine Therapy, of whom you've already heard from Mr. Bibb. As he's mentioned, IET runs horse-based programs of therapy at Silver Rock Farm. We have been doing this as a charity. We are a 501c3 charity, incorporated, and we have been doing this for over 10 years. The participants in our programs present with various kinds of handicaps, and they are ages from youngsters to older teenagers and young adults. We have people with Down syndrome, autistic spectrum, attention deficit, and so forth. We are closely, IET is closely involved with Rockland County and has been for many years. Rockland County Day refers a steady group of their clients to us for the therapies that we offer that are unique to them, and they have been Rockland County Day has given us a number of singular honors for the work that we have done for that organization. As noted, we have a vulnerable population, and when the lessons are underway at Silver Rock Farm, unfortunately, because of the proximity of Rockland Cider Works, there are serious, very significant risks and hazards of serious physical injury. Thank heavens we've not had them yet, but it's only a matter of time. We have had horses and kids getting startled by the sudden noises. Fire pits are being lit, and that makes a noise, and the very smell of fire will throw a horse into anxiety, if not outright panic. It hasn't happened yet, and our horses are very well suited for handicap work, but they are still animals. They cannot be other than what they are. A fire, God forbid, a fire, one of those pits gets out of control, and there will be a tragedy at IET and Silver Rock Farm. The sudden start of band music, the loud music, startles horses. It also affects the attention span of many of these children who are, while they do have outriders to protect them, volunteers who are at their side, they must keep attention on these animals in order to get any good from this program. Despite the signs, people bring children to the fence to watch. Despite signs asking them not to, we have cars coming up and down the driveway. It's nice to have music and dance and beer, but this is a serious risk to our vulnerable kids. And it's only a matter of time before something really bad happens. Thank you.
Thank you. Maureen Sullivan.
Good evening. I'm Maureen Sullivan. I'm a resident. I'm a homeowner. And I did have prepared remarks today, but I think after a brief conversation with Supervisor Kenny, who understands my concerns and understands that there needs to be change in processes that are really corrupt. You know, we heard two speakers say that there are significant conflict of concerns on other issues, and we know that that exists, and we know that it existed tonight in relation to one of the promotions in the police department. So you had all received, I did write a letter, spent a long time preparing the letter, spoke to many people on the letter, tried to put only things in the letter that I felt were true and that could be confirmed. So that letter went out. It was more than 24 hours prior to this meeting. Not one of you just even sent me a letter and said, even sent me an email and said, I confirm that I received it. So what is that responsive to government? None. So I do appreciate, though, Mr. Valentine, again, and Supervisor Kenny acknowledging some of these issues after the meeting, the prior meeting. And I also feel that we all know what happened in this process. We all know what the conflict of interest was. Ask anyone. Ask anyone in the Republican Party. Ask anyone, and they know what it is. And Mr. Divany and Mr. Troy, your role in this matter really needs to be investigated. The significant conflicts of interest, the involvement in the promotion 2 years ago needs to be investigated, and there was no opportunity to make these comments before any vote on those appointments. It is difficult for me. You all know this involves my family member, but it also involves another lieutenant, long-serving, respected lieutenant. So I would ask that Supervisor Kenny, we make that commitment to improve this process. And it would be, I think, in the public interest if Mr. Troy could explain the statement he made revolving a 2-year process 2-year succession planning process to to achieve the goal that he achieved tonight with one of those promotions. So I thank you. I understand public service is difficult, and I thank you all for what you do, and I thank you all for your commitment that we're going to make things better. Thank you.
John Lanane, or Lalane, am I saying it right?
Hi, my name is John Lanave. I'm a Pearl River resident. Thank you for giving me a couple of minutes to just further echo what Ms. Sullivan said. You know, normally I'm on the other side of these mics, and it's not easy, and I appreciate the position you're in. But it is so disappointing to have learned the facts, not even the speculation, of which there's many, the facts, Mr. Divney and Mr. Troy, regarding your role in creating this behind-the-scenes process to make a promotion of the least qualified candidate because of a decades-long personal relationship. And I would ask the town attorney why he didn't intervene in explaining to both of you that you should have recused yourself from this process. There's nothing unethical about having friends. What's unethical is making votes that promote them because of decade-long friendships. And the more I learn about this process and the conversations with Mr. Bottieri and getting his vote for a future appointment, it's just incredibly deceitful. And you all took an oath. And Mr. Divney, you're an officer of the court. You should understand about ethics. And so I say to all of you with great disappointment that we are disappointed in you, that we've placed our trust in you to make these decisions, and you've made them in such a deceitful way. Thank you for your time.
Mike, before you speak, I'm just going to say a couple things. I'm just going to say something. If you were at the police meeting, you know we had a lot of qualified people. We are in a small town. Look, it doesn't matter what I voted or who I voted for or didn't vote for. The process is very much set by law, okay? Top 3, officers are all eligible. I don't need to defend them, okay? They'll defend themselves. And I'll be honest, it was not my first choice for the position. But to say that it was unethical or deceitful is just wrong. And I take offense to that because I was part of the process, and there was a process. There's a lot of innuendo about who promised who what. I don't, again, it's rumor, it's speculation. I don't think it's fair to make those accusations. That's what I'm going to say. Again, it's Mr. Troy's last night, and this is really the last thing that he needs, although maybe it'll make him happy. He's going to skip right out the door when this is done. So anyway, on that note, Mike Minell, you want to come up?
I want my job back because I really missed this. I just have a couple things to say. As far as one candidate being overqualified or underqualified, as far as I'm concerned, they were all, you have the DEA, you have state police, you have Tom Hollihan, who's been an administrator here forever, your brother, and I consider your brother a good friend of mine, as the other applicants as well. I consider your nephew one of my best friends, but the system that you're complaining about, your brother took advantage of in this department, in this town, has been very kind to him, has been very kind to your family. I could name probably 10 guys in the locker room right now that never got anything in this place. I could probably name 10 guys that left this place that never got anything. So to say that anyone's really got gypped in this place or anything.
Yeah, Mike, direct it to us.
Okay, I'm looking at everybody. I can look at the board, I can look at everybody. But to say that anybody in this place has really gotten, trumped by the system, I did 20 years here. I never got nothing. I appreciate everything this town's done for me, the benefits, able to work with my family, able to have a town board that supports the police officers. That's invaluable, absolutely invaluable. So that you didn't get a promotion or anything like that, I don't know. I think it's wrong, and that's all I have to say. And again, I'm friends with Jimmy. I'm friends with the other Jimmy. I'm friends with everybody in this place. But there ain't anyone in here that's gotten screwed over or trumped by the system. I think Dennis used to ref basketball with Turtle. I think the ex-chief went to school with your brother. God rest his soul. So I don't know where it's going, but it is what it is. Like Teresa said, this is small town politics. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Mike Callahan from Tapan.
Mike Callahan, Tapan. I might be here on a little happier note.
Thank you.
I've been a Christmas party chairman, holiday party chairman for the Tapan. Can I take this down? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Holiday party chairman for the Tapan Fire District and Volunteer Fire Association of Tapan for about 19 years. My father ran it for over 35 years prior to that. And I just want to thank the town board for Mr. Dean, Mrs. Fairclough, Carl, I didn't catch his last name, Sergeant Schiller, Eric Gordon, for their help and support in trying to organize this and last year's event. Last year we switched from a indoor holiday carnival where we used to only get about 200 kids, maybe even a little less. Last year we had 515 kids come through the Uptown Firehouse that we turned into a Santa's workshop with over 250 cars. So on the agendas, thanking you for providing that support, and look forward to seeing people on Saturday, December 18th from 4:30 to 7:30. Come grab a gift and help support the Tapan Fire Association. Thank you.
Sharon Van Houten.
Good evening. What you're being handed is a picture from my backyard. And if you want to count the cars over in the parking lot of RCW, we're back to RCW, by the way. If you want to count the cars over there, there's probably about 25, 27 cars in that back lot. How are they ever saying they could fit 100 cars back there is beyond me. That's number one. Number two, I just want to say congratulations, Mr. Troy, and good luck on your retirement. At a meeting last month, someone replied that RCW was their dream job. It's a job to them. Our homes are our dream homes. It's our life. This is our life. This is a quality of life issue. That's just their job. This is our life. The owners of RCW have continued to defy the integrity of this board, the departments of this town, their neighbors, even the police departments when called upon. The owners of RCW have only in the last 3 years come into Pearl River and open a bar. They've done major numerous changes, including changing a septic tank. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, without any permits or permission, and the DEC will be notified. Jim Van Houten even added an extension off the back of his home without a permit. I don't know if you're aware of that either. RCW and Van Houten Farms have continued to do work even though a stop work order was issued from the town. They knew what they were doing, they knew it was wrong, but they continued to do it anyway. They thought they were above all the rules and regulations because of how much property they have or their lineage here. My family has been rooted here, as well for over 200 years. We are direct descendants of the Blauvelt family. It means nothing, though. If you're not good people or good neighbors, it means nothing. We have a baby shower coming up this spring. I'm about to become a grandmother. And soon after, hopefully, a christening. Also, our neighbors are planning their wedding at their home this summer. We can't plan this with a carnival next door. Our neighbors and I have been bullied and harassed by the aggressive RCW owners. We feel our loss of peace and tranquility in our own home, in our own yards. We even feel encroached upon and violated. This may be their dream job, but it's our dream homes. They don't deserve anything for being dishonest and deceitful, and we certainly don't deserve being pushed out. Thank you very much.
Jack Torpy.
Good evening. My name is Jack Torpy. I live on Sickletown Road, about 125 yards north of Van Houten's farm stand. I've lived there for 50 years. And this Nourishon neighborhood of ours has always been quiet and peaceful. In 2019, this atmosphere was interrupted by days of loud, live music, very heavy traffic, and circus-like food trucks, all as a result of the operation of the Rockland Cider Works on the Van Houten property. At times, this required personnel with security shirts on, and it continued into 2020. I do not have any issue with the Van Houten farm stand as it has historically performed its operation. I'm opposed to anything established in our neighborhood that resembles an amusement park or a cabaret. The town board should consider this zone change petition very seriously and the damage it will do to the neighborhood. It will affect property values. It will be a drastic permanent change, and you will be opening a Pandora's box in Orangetown. I urge you to reject this zone change petition. Thank you.
Faith Custer.
Hello and good evening. My name is Faith Custer. I live at 54 Sickletown Road, 2 doors away from Rockland Cider Works and Van Houten Farms. I am a regular patron of the Garden Center. My husband and I are very concerned with the request to modify the zoning for the site because it is significantly out of scale for the neighborhood and Sickletown Road. A variance for 350 people would attract as many as 200 automobiles. The parking would require over 2 acres of land on a 7-acre lot that already has a private house, a stable, and a garden center on it. Our concern is for the scale of this project in relationship to the neighborhood. The increased traffic and parking is a safety issue. This is not the right plan for our neighborhood. Thank you.
You're going to barge your way right up here? Just because I really like you, John Antonucci, I'm going to let you barge your way right up there. Go
I
ahead.
appreciate that, Teresa. We, the members of the Raymond W. DiMiolo Veterans Memorial Post of 1615 of Blauvelt, are here tonight, not to interrupt, but to present something of honor to Dennis Troy, who has worked with the veterans for many years. For his support, we would like to give him this token of our appreciation, which reads as follows. Dennis Troy, for all your years of support, VFW Post 1615 of Blauvelt, December 20th, 2021. We salute you, Dennis.
So he totally just cut the line there, but anyway. Is there anybody here who still wants to speak in our public portion that hasn't had a chance to speak? Ideally, the presentation still, Dennis, will be at the end, but okay. So right there, I'm sorry, I don't know your name. You can come on up.
Hi, my name is Gian Chazinski. I live on Orangeburg Road, Pearl River. A lot of what I'm going to say has already been said in various forms, but basically, looking over some of the documents, the violations that have occurred, it's obvious that this whole process has been muddled up, but the bottom line is, how can you possibly call this a farm and try to make this agricultural? It's 7 acres really cut in half because of the stable. Another part of the property has a house on it, and yet they're trying to claim that 350 people, or a maximum of 350 people, are going to be able to visit. Just doing a little bit of rough math, if there's 3 people per car, that's 117 cars coming in, and again, doing a little bit more rough math, probably 30,000 to 40,000 feet would be required for parking. It's physically impossible. It just can't happen. But all that being said, 350 people drinking with music, and yet on the seeker form, it says noise no more than ambient. That sounds pretty ridiculous to me. This is a residential area, and you're going to have people on Friday night, Saturday night playing music, drinking. That's not Orangetown. That's downtown Pearl River or some other place. So please reject that proposal. Thank you.
Anybody else who wants to speak that has not? Just again, if you mind saying your name for the record.
Good evening. My name is Tom Reynolds, 65 Sickletown Road. I live right up behind Jimmy. Jimmy used to be one of my customers. For you people who don't know, I'm a produce distributor. I work nights, and as I say, I used to supply Jimmy. When Darren and Elizabeth came into the picture and they started this RCW, they were parking all their cars up my driveway, and they were cutting into Jimmy's lawn, and there would be 30 or 40 cars up there. A couple weekends in a row, my wife went down, talked to Darren and Elizabeth. They said, think of it this way, he's having a party. He can do whatever he wants. I came home, I was doing a job upstate for some people, and when I came back home, it was a Saturday night, and I went up to Home Depot, bought cones, no parking signs, and then I'm an early bird. At 5 in the morning, I went down there with a full-size vehicle, parked it across my side of the driveway, put the cones up. 7 a.m. in the morning, their first employee came in. Didn't know what to do. I said, I suggest you park across the street. She says, I can't. We have an event today. Elizabeth told me to park as close to your property as possible, and that's what she would do. I would sit in my couch and look out at her having her lunch with her radio playing and everything, 30 to 40 cars. So I ended that. I went down on a Wednesday to the zoning administrator, asked for him personally, and I explained everything, filled out a formal complaint, showed a diagram of where the vehicles were, everything else. So nothing happened for about a week and a half. The next thing, they must have came down on him. Jimmy came running out one night or one day and says, I can't believe you called the zoning. You made a complaint against me. I said, Jimmy, that happened on a Sunday morning. Wednesday, you didn't address it, so I addressed it, okay? And that's why we're here. They don't seem to care. And the other thing, I hope you guys are smart, that you know that when you, Mr. Divany, when you had your fundraising, you had Darren and Elizabeth sitting at your table. That's not a coincidence. I know it's legal. I know you can do that. But I choose my dinner companions, a lot more closer than that. And I'll tell you another thing. I got rid of Jimmy that day. I severed our relationship as business, and that was it. And this is where we're at. I mean, I've had and I have grandchildren that would be on my property in my driveway, and vehicles were going up there doing turnarounds. Nobody, I can't believe it. And they weren't even concerned. So they're not going to be concerned about anything else. Another thing, he got away many, many years with these farm license plates, where you have one set of plates that services your whole fleet, and you pay one insurance. I want to know how that happened all those years. I don't know if it's still in existence, but there's a lot of vehicles back there.
Thank you. Is there anybody here who would like to speak that has not had an opportunity to speak yet? Okay. Nope. Okay. Can I get a motion to close? Dennis, second. Tom, all in favor? Aye. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so on this matter, I think there's a couple questions. Is there anybody here representing Van Houten's? No lawyer, anybody? Okay. I had earlier checked with the town attorney's office on the status of the violation, because they are in court, and it was put over to sometime in January. The SLA, I don't know if we actually know. I mean, we know that they were charged with violations, and apparently tonight we heard the details, but do we have any information on the actual? It's pending.
I was advised that they were cited by the SLA. That's what I know as we sit here.
Okay. Want to pull it? I have the question is, pull it? Okay, I think we have a consensus to pull it until we get more details. Okay. So, no, we're not, you can hand something in, but we're not going to have any more comments. Do you have to do something to pull it, or we just pull it?
Well, there was a public hearing scheduled for tonight, so obviously that was not going to take place. So, if you don't want to vote on number 3, you don't have to vote on it, just table it.
I'll table it.
And we'll just announce that there's no public hearing, and we will reschedule it in the future if the board decides to have a public hearing on it.
Okay. Okay. You good with that? Okay. Okay, so we're tabling number 3. Number 4, can I get a motion to adopt the town board meeting calendar for 2022? Jerry Batari, second.
I'll second.
Paul Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
Number 5, amend the resolution. This is to authorize me to sign a grant agreement with EFC for telemetry upgrades. Motion. Dennis Troy, second. Jerry Batari, all in favor?
Aye.
Number 6, authorize the supervisor to sign engagement letter with from O'Connor and Davies for accounting services for the fiscal year 2021. Jerry Batari, move. Dennis Troy, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 7, retain the LaBerge Group to help with the hybrid zoning for the Village of South Nyack. Motion. Dennis Troy. Tom Divany, all in favor?
Aye.
Authorize the intermunicipal agreement for the Village of South Nyack for the, as amended, right? Don't we have to amend this or something? Is it that whole second B further?
1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th, and 6th whereas clause, and 2nd resolve clause regarding it.
Okay, I got it. So can we just do a motion as amended? Okay. So can I get a motion to approve number 8 as amended?
Moved.
Tom Divany, second.
I'll second.
Paul Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
Number 9, motion to waive the 30-day advance notice for on-premise alcohol beverage license for Unknown 22 Corp. Can I get a motion? I'll make the motion. Second?
Second.
Oh, Dennis Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
You're leaving, you could do whatever the hell you want to do. Number 10, extend the authorization for outdoor dining for sidewalk cafes. Do we have it when it's amended to, Rob?
December 31 of 22.
Okay. Is that what that says there? It doesn't. Does it say that 2022?
Yeah, that does on the 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's way too long. I'm just going to say that. Okay. Okay, so can I get a motion on that?
Moved.
Tom Divany, second. Jerry Batari, all in favor?
Aye.
Number 11, accept the road widening deed for Route 303 in Blauvelt from Fisk subdivision. Motion.
Moved.
Tom Divany, second. Paul Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
Number 12, approve lend assistance for the Volunteer Fire Association of Japan for the holiday drive-through event, which she was not here to, nice enough to, motion?
Moved.
Jerry Batari, Tom Divany, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Approve the award of bid to the, for Trius Inc. for a new dump body. For Jimmy, Dennis Troy wants to do that as a gift for Jimmy as he's leaving. Second. Jerry Batari, all in favor?
Aye.
Parks and Rec, accept the Orangetown Metro Soccer Club improvement to the youth soccer complex. Dennis Troy moved, second. Tom Divany, all in favor? Aye. Jenderson's on the right button, okay. We have number 15 is accept the donation for several memorial benches. Motion?
Moved.
Tom Divany, second. Paul Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
Number 16, award the bid for furnishing of police department uniforms to D&E Uniforms. Move, Jerry Batari. Second, Dennis Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
Award the bid for the dry cleaning, laundering, and minor sewing and repairs of police department uniforms. Paul Valentine, move. Tom Divany, second. All in favor? Aye. Accept with regret the the retirement of Captain James Brown, effective December 10th, 2021. Dennis Troy, second. Jerry Batari, all in favor?
Aye.
Number 19, approve the intermunicipal agreement for Rockland County Drug Task Force and assign a detective with reimbursement. Motion? Jerry Batari, second.
Second.
Paul Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
Number 20, approve lend assistance, the American Legion of Japan Reformed Church for the annual Christmas tree lighting. Can I get a motion?
Moved.
Tom Divany, second. Paul Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to reopen Section 384D of the Retirement and Social Security Law for police pensions. Jerry Batari, move. Second, Dennis Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
Accept, receive, and file documents in the town clerk's office. Motion.
Moved.
Tom Divany, second. Jerry Batari, all in favor? Okay.
3 items, Jeff.
Make it quick. Speed it up there.
Okay, tonight's audit consists of 2 warrants for a total of $961,000. First warrant had 60 vouchers for $218,000 was for utilities. Second warrant had 164 vouchers for $743,000. Items of interest, number 1 and 2, the applied golf contracts. They both had record years, and this is the 5% bonus that they get for that. Number 3, Barclay Damon, $61,000 for the Pfizer tax certiorari defense. Number 5, Capasso, $74,000 for recycling. Number 6, Colliers, $38,000 for the traffic signal project. Number 10, Hydropneumatic Sales, $16,000 for pump station repairs. Number 13, Morano Brothers, $151,000 for the North Middletown Road project. Number 17, Schultz Ford, $38,000 for police vehicle replacement. And number 19, South Orangetown Central School District, $48,000 for the pool rental. Any questions on the audit?
Nope.
No. Okay, motion to accept the audit?
Moved.
I got moved from every which direction I got moved. Tom Divany moved, second. Jerry Batari, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so do you want to close the public portion and then do presentations? We'll do the adjournments, but I'm sure I should, right? We're not going to executive session? Okay. So we'll close it, and then we'll just do the presentations, right? Okay, so we're going to adjourn the meeting tonight, and we have some adjournment for, in memory of Barbara Rose Havorka, who's the resident of Orangeburg, grandmother of Hunter Havorka, who is an Orangetown Parks and Recreation Department employee, and Virginia Lynch, a resident of Blauvelt. Okay, can I get a motion? Dennis Troy, second. Jerry Batari, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so first we have Assemblyman Mike Lawler.
Good evening, everyone, and I'm honored to be here tonight to recognize Councilman Dennis Troy upon his retirement from the town board after 21-plus years of dedicated service to the town and an additional number of years of service to the county. Dennis has been one of the most honorable members of this board, but one of the most honorable elected officials in the state of New York. And I have had the good fortune of working alongside him this last year as an elected official, but during my time as Deputy Town Supervisor in Orangetown, as well as the Town Republican Chair. And I am a big proponent of term limits, and I've said this many times, but there's always an exception to that rule. And to me, Dennis is the exception to that rule. He is someone who has always put the town first, someone who has always put our community first, and always stood up for the residents and the taxpayers of Orangetown. His voice has been one that has been needed and has been one of strength and reason and common sense in the application of government and in doing the job of town councilman for the people of Orangetown. And it really is going to be bittersweet to have Dennis leave the board because he really has done an exceptional job during his entire tenure. And the truth is, you're never going to make everybody happy, and we saw that tonight. But that's okay. That's the job of being an elected official. That's the job of doing the very best job that you can. And you have done that. And you deserve this retirement because of the work that you have done on behalf of the people of Orangetown. I know B is ecstatic to have you home. I know your family is immensely proud of you and has been extremely supportive of your endeavors in politics. And so I know they are happy to have you be done with this craziness and focus on what's most important, and that's your family. And so I just want to say on behalf of the state of New York, on behalf of the State Assembly, and on behalf of myself, thank you very much for your service. You will be missed. Thank you, Dennis.
Superintendent of Highways, Jim Dean. Leaf bags, Jim? Really? You're giving them leaf bags?
I really am happy to be here to be able to congratulate you on your retirement. I hate to see you go. I want to reiterate what Mike says. You are by far one of the most involved council people I've ever worked with, and that's been for the 21 years you've been here. We have a little thing that we give out to people that we believe helps the highway department, and that's our Highway Helper Award, which I want to give you tonight. But I think Dennis Troy is much more than a highway helper. His involvement on the board from Venture, Nyack Hospital, for all the Hibernian groups, and any place you go, if they need help, and Dennis commits, he's going to be there, and he's going to help you. And I truly feel that in the highway department. After working 21 years together, there have been good times and sometimes not so good. Dennis and I, involved in a couple of projects that we were called lots of names about. The first traffic light on West Washington Avenue. We were accused of driving people out of their houses because we were going to put a light there. But the fact is, when Dennis saw that there was a need, he was always there, and he supported it, and we got it done. We did the diagonal parking down in Pearl River. Couple of months, maybe a year of anxiety, but it got through, and it added 38 more parking spaces for the businesses in Pearl River. So some of the decisions that they make, I always talk to the town board members, and especially Dennis. My job is easy because most of the time we're making people happy. Half the time, you're going to make people unhappy. You and the building department have a difficult time in making everybody happy. So I appreciate all the effort you've put in to helping the highway department. I think you made us earn whatever you did give us, but when you said you would do it, you did it, and I appreciate that. So we have a couple of things for you. I'd rather explain it over there. Can I do that?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
So we always make our awards with leaf bags. We don't pay for the wrapping. And also our construction zone tape. I know you don't wear hats much, but this is part of the whole package, I think.
I need a hat.
I know, just like me, you understand. I do have a plaque for you. Sorry. I didn't think it was going to be that far. We do have a highway department, town of Orangetown, the superintendent of highways of the town of Orangetown hereby recognizes Dennis Troy as a highway helper in appreciation for your outstanding service and support for the Orangetown Highway Department. I know you got millions of plaques, but B, you can take this off and put a picture of the beautiful family you have right here. Right?
Thank you.
And we want everybody to know you're a highway helper, so we have a golf shirt for him.
I want to see you in that, brother.
Yeah. I know he doesn't like loud colors, but when he's in a crowd B, he will always be able to find out. Right?
The woods.
In the woods. And one more thing, because I know it happens to retirees around here. I've seen it happen all the time. You're going to get bored. We're going to see you out walking alongside the road in the morning. So here's a good highway shirt.
Wow, that's
And you can do
nice.
it when the lights shine on here, it lights up, so nobody's going to run you over. Thank you.
Hopefully.
For all your work.
Okay, Dennis O'Donnell.
Why do I miss this job?
We have a shirt for you, Dennis.
If it's your size, it won't fit. Supervisor Kenny, Councilman Divney, Valentine, Batari. As a former councilman that worked with Dennis Troy for over 10 years on the board, I appreciate you allowing me a few minutes to reminisce on a few of the many accomplishments Mr. Troy initiated or guided through fruition. just to name some of them, and there are only some because there's too many to go into. The town master plan, and I'm just going to mention it for this, just a snapshot of what basically goes into a master plan. But Dennis was part of that back in the early 2000s, which allowed the town to restrict the zoning on certain parcels of land. Dot the i's, crosses the t's, to make Orangetown restricted in what would be allowed to build upon, not like other communities that we all know about. Getting the state to realign Route 303, make it a safer highway to travel, not the hazardous way it was before. One of the many accomplishments was publicizing of the unique advantage of Orangetown had to offer to entice new businesses and new ratables. Dennis was definitely to the forefront of that. To bond when it was necessary to upgrade our sewer systems, to allocate the necessary funds to upgrade the highway equipment. Jim Deed did the rest with his employees, making Orangetown roads the best in the county. Dennis was always vocal to make sure that our police had the necessary equipment and manpower to do their job, which you continue this evening. And we're all very proud of the men and women that make the police department of the town of Orangetown the safest in probably the tri-state area. He was always singing the praises of our fire departments, our ambulance corps, and those who helped out. Dennis was instrumental in securing the land at Rockland Psychiatric Center from the state and turned that property, which was a blight on the community, to what it is today, an oasis. Dennis had a vision to see what was needed as far as athletic fields were concerned. His love of sports, basketball, baseball, soccer, OMM, Mighty Midgets, all shared in this vision. Today, it is probably amongst the best in the county. These are but a handful of what you have brought to this town, Dennis, over the past 20-plus years. You step away, leaving Orangetown, a much better place for all of us for what you've done. Thank you for your service.
Brian, you want to say something? Brian Donahue. You changed your mind? You're going to beg him to stay?
I lost my voice at the Army-Navy game this year. For those of you guys who don't know me, I'm Brian Donahue. I'm a going on 19-year resident of Pearl River here in Orangetown. I am the council-elect that's taking Dennis Troy's seat when he retires next 2 weeks. I just want to say I'm flattered, honored, and I couldn't be happier to be mentioned in the same sentence as Dennis Troy. I was here the first 5 years I came up here. I knew who Dennis Troy was, and you just made an impact on this town, and just I wish I could do, and I hopefully will continue your legacy with your help and the rest of the board's help. And I just thank you for everything you've done. And I thank you for the support and the endorsement that you gave me. So thank you.
Is there anybody else who would like to speak that didn't Go ahead, Bob. Just kidding.
Hello, my name is Robert Bell. The veterans a few minutes ago spoke more eloquently about some of the things that Dennis did than I could. And I know they went through a great deal of personal effort to be here for the time that they were tonight. But I'm speaking now on behalf of the Walkway of American Heroes Trust, where about over 20 years ago, Dennis always supported us. But what I think is really important is at every presentation, he was always up on the podium, not the podium, I'm sorry, the seats to the right, supporting us. His quiet presence was always felt. His support was unwavering. He never wanted to speak. He just wanted to say he was just glad to be there with us. And on behalf of that, and on behalf of the Walkway of American Heroes Trust, of which I may be the last member at this time, thank you very, very much for what you did. We greatly appreciated it. And certainly it's proof positive of your patriotism and service to the town. Thank you very much.
Okay, is there anybody else that wants to speak that hasn't had a chance? Okay, if not, Dennis is like, motion to close. No, I'm only kidding. Do you guys want to say something? Okay, go ahead.
I had the opportunity of serving with Dennis so far about 12 years on this board, and he's taught me a lot. One is respect, and respect for one another and respect for people with difference of opinions, to at least hear them out. He always spoke clearly. He knew where Dennis stood, and I appreciated that. He had integrity. What he was doing, he always thought was the right thing. It was not always the easy thing, but he stood up for what he thought was right. Sometimes we weren't always on the same page as what was right, but we both had mutual respect because we could sit down, talk about our differences, and usually come to a conclusion that was best for the town. So Dennis gave up a lot of his own time and energy to make this town the great town it is, and I just want to say thank you for your leadership, and thank you for mentoring me, and thank you for all you did for this town.
Thank you.
Be nice.
I'd like to start off by saying after tonight, please take me with you. Dennis has been on the town board for 22 years. What they don't tell you when you get elected is that you become a human dartboard, as we found out tonight. But just so everyone that's watching, everyone in the audience, you probably already know that, but Dennis is not a deceitful person. He's a man of integrity. He's a man that always does what he thinks is best for the town. He has a vision for the town, and that has led him to usher in the purchase of the Rockland Psych property, world-class O&M fields. He fought against workforce housing. He's fought for everything good in this town, and I just don't understand why people would come here tonight on his last night and say that he's done anything deceitful. Anything that he's done has been more candor. He'll tell you what it is. He'll tell you if he likes you, if he doesn't, and he's always been truthful, and everyone respects him. He's helped out a lot of people in this town, and he's going to be missed more than anyone in this room knows, because you see what happens out here, but there's so much more that happens outside of town hall and outside of the town board meetings, and it's going to be a huge void to fill, and we're never going to be able to do it. And I appreciate your service, Dennis, and you're a smart man for leaving.
All right. Dennis, most of all and first most, I consider you a friend. I've known you for a long time. Got involved with the board 6 years ago. You've helped along the way. And, you know, I've known you outside for even longer than that. Always known you to be, you know, respectful always known you to be honest and blunt. As I know anybody would argue that you weren't blunt. But listen, when you spoke your mind, and I appreciate that. But again, most of all, I value your friendship, and I will continue to. I know that. Congratulations. Thank you.
I'd like to say something. I first met Dennis over 20 years ago when we both worked for the county, and we were basically on the basketball court. And a few years later, he encouraged me to interview for a deputy town attorney position. And I said, "Do you have any advice, going into the interview?" And he said, "Pretend like you don't know me." So I don't know why, but I will say.
I never knew that. I'm just finding that out now.
I will say, everybody's talking about what a wonderful job he has done for the community. He certainly has. And he also has impacted everybody in this room individually, and me especially, encouraging me to work here, and I'm still here all these years later. And I do appreciate it, and most times. And I will say that, this time of year, you see It's a Wonderful Life on, and this really reminds me of that. Dennis has had such an impact on everybody's individual lives here and on the town of Orangetown. And again, I personally thank you and, for your friendship and guidance and leadership and also on behalf of the town. So thank you, Dennis.
So somewhat similar. I met Dennis. I was working as an attorney for the town before I ended up in this wonderful job. Thanks to Dennis. But anyway, and that's when Dennis came on. I was there 2 years, and Dennis came on. And, I always viewed my job with being charged with kind of keeping the town board out of trouble. And Dennis sometimes made that a little difficult. Dennis, you'd sit at the dais there, and he'd be saying something, and you'd be thinking to yourself, okay, Dennis, just stop now. You could stop. But going back to what everybody said, it was always coming from the heart, always thought what it was right. He didn't care about political correctness because he was saying what he thought was best. And he's been a great mentor to me. And in the 2 years sitting next to me, he's been just an asset to have here, guiding me, mentoring me, and it's going to be a big void. But we do have a great present for you. This is so good. I'm so excited because I don't think we've ever given one of these out before. Okay, the key to the town of Orangetown. Dennis Troy, Supervisor Teresa Kenny, and the Orangetown Town Board present this key to Dennis Troy in recognition of his tireless efforts in working for the betterment of Orangetown and his residents. This key symbolizes that although no longer a town councilman, Dennis is accorded the freedom to enter and leave Orangetown Town Hall at will as a trusted friend of Orangetown residents. Not to be done by Jim Dean. I did ask Dennis to stand as my deputy supervisor, and he said yes. I don't know if he's rethinking it after tonight, but we got him as a first official Dennis Troy Deputy Town Supervisor shirt. Okay, you want to say a few words? What's that? Oh, thank you. And the best part of Dennis Troy thank you for sharing his life.
My wife tells me when I speak off the top of my head, I start digressing all over the place. So let me see the zigzagging. Let's see what I can do here. First of all, the presentations, thank you very much. It's a thing where a lot of the churches now, they don't have eulogies. It sounds like a eulogy to me. But I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. It's a thing where Dennis O'Donnell talked about the oasis. Many a times I've talked about Orangetown being an oasis. Ref and basketball you alluded to, Jerry. I reffed all over the county, and I've said many a time, when I came back into Orangetown from other towns, not to say that they're bad, but this is an oasis compared to the other towns. There's no doubt about it. I've said it many a time on television, as it's televised. As a matter of fact, I ended up on Facebook about 12 years ago getting beat to a pulp about saying something like that, accusing me of all sorts of other things. But that's part of the job. You know, it's a thing where people, sometimes they take the worst out of what you say, all right? And in my case, I give them ample opportunity to criticize me. I got to recognize John Murphy, who's sitting right in front of me. John Murphy was on the legislature for 44 years. I don't know how the hell he did that, because that is an incredible amount of time, all right? I, at this point, saw it was time, time to go for me. I never thought I'd outlast Jimmy Dean for another thing, but John Murphy, I sat next to in the legislature. He was a mentor to me, and it was very important to me. I was a hothead, and he was telling me you can't fight every battle. You got to pick your battles, and there are times to keep your mouth shut, and other times to speak up. And for me, it was a very valuable lesson, because I needed lessons like that, as I came, into the job. One of the things I also learned in the job is the value of the people who work in this town, the town board, what people on the town board do. This is a working town board. It has not always been a working town board, where people really put the time in and read all the documentation and voted. All right, some people just floated through. The departments that we have here, again, Jimmy Dean, Building Department, Eamon Riley, Mike Weber, the DEME, the Sewer Department, and I'm going to do this every time. I'll forget somebody, but the Finance Department, the clerk, the Receiver of Taxes, who am I missing? The Police Department, right here. We got bodyguards here. The police Department. And again, to answer earlier criticism, I'm comfortable with what I did tonight. Some people disagree, but through the years, different people have gotten promotions, and I'm comfortable with the votes that I had through the years, including votes for one of the people who didn't get the job. I voted for them like 3 different times before that, all right? It's a thing, we have a great department, and it makes choices a lot more difficult when you have a great department. Now, one of the things Teresa said is that for me, the people who supported me, it's my family. My family is here. They were behind me every step of the way. I'm a lucky man. My 3 married children live here in Orangetown. Their spouses are here tonight. My grandchildren are here tonight. My one son, who's kind of like an orphan, he's down in Hoboken. The good news is getting married next summer to a beautiful girl, and hopefully someday they come back here. But I'm very, very fortunate to have everybody around me. So I go out of this a very lucky man. Thank you.
We have refreshments outside, everyone, so please join us out there.